We are at a loss, a miss, a society beleaguered and frenzied. Demagoguery stokes division. Vigilantism threatens our safety, and if we do not denounce the fear-mongering and hateful ideologies that spur people to violence, we may never recover. This could have been how reporters covered the aftermath of the 1906 Atlanta race massacre. The naked brutality on display in the streets of Atlanta over those 4 fateful days in September of 1906 could have sparked a community-wide reckoning with the underlying causes of the carnage. The truth could have been hunted down, researched, reported, and adjudicated, but instead, the day after the massacre subsided, on September 26, 1906, the Atlanta Journal ran the headline, "Atlanta is herself again. Business activity restored, and the riot is forgotten." This semester at Emory University, 16 students seek to remember.
I'm Hank Klibanoff, and I teach in the creative writing program at Emory. And I've been teaching at Emory since 2010, and I've been teaching the Georgia Civil Rights Cold Cases class, which I also call the Georgia Civil Rights Cold Cases Project, because it's an ongoing year-round project, even when I'm not in class, since 2011. It really focuses almost entirely on unpunished, racially motivated murders that took place in Georgia history between the end of World War II and about 1968, 1970, what's known as the modern civil rights era. And this year is a bit of an aberration because 1906 falls way out of those parameters. The cases generally have not been, justice has not been served in any of our cases. And that's our goal, not necessarily because we expect criminal justice to be served because the perpetrators are all dead, but that there can be some historical justice brought to these cases. So we're looking at the 1906 race riot, it's been known as, but we think it should be rebranded race massacre based on what our research shows. And it's been fantastic to delve into this, and the students just seem totally engaged by it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sonam Vashi. I'm a teaching assistant for this class this semester. Also a former student of Hank's and the Cold Cases class. You know, there's so many different research methods depending on the time period you're looking at. And so, you know, when you're looking at the 50s and 60s, there's still people alive who remember things. There are a lot more resources available than 100 years ago. And so we're having to really rely on different newspapers. And so we're having to really work with the students to be skeptical and say, you know, where did this newspaper get this information from? Is it a historically white newspaper? You know, what are the kind of biases that some of these journalists may have had? There's all kinds of other documents that are available too. And so we have students that are looking at death certificates and trying to match up different types of information and names to genealogical databases like Ancestry, so we can figure out for someone who was killed, you know, how old were they? Who did they live with? You know, were they married? Did they have any surviving children? Where did they live? And what can we tell about who they were, their class status, their occupation, what their lives may have looked like based on this information?
My name is Garrett Turner. I am an actor and a playwright. I graduated from Emory in 2011. So it's good to be back and to be part of the Arts and Social Justice Fellows program. Since it is a creative writing course, the students are going to be doing some creative writing for the artistic component. And then there will be a dramatic reading of what the students write, which the students are welcome to participate in. But so what I'm asking them to write is to pick a moment from the 4 days of the massacre. And instead of writing that particular moment of violence, what we're doing is writing moments that contextualize that violence. So they pick a moment and then they're going to write either the moment that happened just before or a moment that happened sometime after. And the vehicle through which they'll portray that moment is either a theatrical monologue or dialogue, or a poem or series of poems, if they consider themselves a poet, or some manner of creative prose or short story format. And really the point of us crafting these specific moments is to bring forward the emotional veracity of the massacre. It's a way of portraying history to allow us to get directly to the human element.
What art can be made of savagery? How can creativity effectively respond to the horrors of white supremacy? The answers, I find, are in the process. Listening to students present their research and puzzle through newspaper clippings, maps, death certificates, and first-hand accounts reveals to me the power of truth-telling. Sometimes art is transformative simply by holding up a mirror to our reality, forcing us to wrestle with who we've been and who we've become.
Hi, I'm Jake McLean. I'm a junior in the college, double majoring in English and creative writing and film and media.
Hi, I'm Meredith McKelvey, and I'm a senior at Emory University. I'm currently a poli-sci major, political science major, and I want to go into journalism when I graduate.
Hi, I'm Allison, and I'm a senior who's originally from Los Angeles, but right now I'm in Atlanta, just completing my senior year. I am double majoring in media studies and political science, and yeah, that's about it.
So I gave y'all an assignment as part of the artistic component of our class this year, which was to write a monologue in the voice of the character of a white woman whose husband had participated in the 1906 Atlanta Race Massacre. So I'm curious what undergoing that assignment was like for you. What were the challenges, if there were things about it you enjoyed, and how you came up with what you came up with?
I wasn't the voice I was originally picturing us writing in. So it was really hard to like get in the head of like, what is this woman thinking? Like, she's clearly on she's on the wrong side of history. So how do we get into her head, and how is she justifying all of this?
I'm from the South. My family is all originally from the South. And so the character that I created has a lot of characteristics that exist in my own family, especially like with the women in my own family. And I think some of those characteristics are like the self-victimization. There's very much this sense that they are aware of what's going on around them, but they choose to suppress what they see and what they hear. And so I really wanted to bring that into that character, because I feel like that's something that in modern society people still do. And unfortunately, a lot of white women still tend to do that. And so I think that's something that must be overcome if we're all going to work forward and, dismantle racism together.
It was kind of crazy that like some of the newspaper clippings would be like, oh, this person was like assaulted by a Black man. And then like, there would be like one sentence that was like, actually was found that the lady was crazy or something like that. Or like actually like she's on medication. I don't know. There was one article that I read that was like, it implied that it was a lie without like fully saying so. And I wonder what the white woman's reaction would be to that. Like, how would you feel if somebody went out and like killed someone for something that wasn't really happening, for something that wasn't really that person's fault? I don't know. That's kind of how I came up with that idea.
This is definitely the class I've been learning the most. Don't tell my other professors, but yeah, no, or maybe it's just more that this material has been sticking with me because it's really heavy. It is dealing with a lot of things in Atlanta's history that I just didn't know about.
I think that the creative component is huge to me, because normally for this kind of writing, it's very nonfiction based. And so we don't really have any room to do any interpretation of it, really, like a creative interpretation. So I love the fact that we can come in and like write a monologue or a dialogue that brings this really like this other perspective of all the content that we're learning.
Something that's really spoken to me over the past few years and like has really shaped my time at Emory is this idea of like taking untold stories or narratives that need to be told and are swept under the rug and actually bringing them to life. And I feel like doing the monologue this past week and participating in a creative project like that is so important in engaging other people who wouldn't ordinarily engage with these types of stories.
There is no way forward except to look back, to understand, to atone. These 16 students convened via Zoom, engaging in critical research and the formation of a creative project, are also engaging in a much larger American project, confronting the totality of who we are. The truth of the American experiment must be hunted down, researched, reported, and adjudicated, and not solely so we can learn from past mistakes. Indeed, much of the power is in the process. We wrestle with the past not just to learn, but to heal. Not just to reconcile, but to mourn. Sometimes we investigate with no other purpose than to stare the vicious truth in the face until it speaks to us, not knowing what it might say or what it might reveal.